From the West End to Little Pakistan, The Confessions of a Serial Killer. This is a documentary based on evidence obtained from public records, describing the brutal unsolved deaths of several neighborhood drug dealers during the height of the crack cocaine epidemic in the late 80s and early 90s. Most of the murders are unsolved cold cases, all carried out by the same Muslim assassin, Leonard Holland, aka Shahid Abdul Rahman, and ironically, the self-proclaimed bodyguard of Jamil Al-Amin. He was formerly known as H. Rap Brown, a radical black leader in the 60s. He was also a member of the Black Panther Party. Jamil was the most powerful man in Atlanta's West End neighborhood. Allegedly, he controlled all the Muslims that he moved in his Muslim community during the time of the killings. This documentary reveals all the facts put into the book From the West End to Little Pakistan, Atlanta Missing and Murdered Drug Dealers. By Beth Warren, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, published on February 17, 2008. An admitted hitman awaiting trial in Fulton County for murder has revealed details about the life and alleged crimes of notorious cop killer Jamil Abdullah Alamine. It's a slice of Atlanta's history that has long remained a mystery. But as the case against the hitman, Leonard Devon Holland, 40, wins its way through the court system, a voluminous paper trail has been made public, finally revealing details about the mob-like crime ring that for years dominated the streets of Southwest Atlanta. Atlanta police detectives and FBI and ATF agents tried to break up the group for years, according to police records. But the killings continued until Atlanta police narcotics detectives, targeting a drug house in 2004, stumbled onto something much bigger. Police found Holland with marijuana, handguns, assault rifles, a DeKalb County Sheriff's badge, an Atlanta Police Department gun, SWAT uniforms, bullet-resistant vests, gas masks, and a Russian-made chemical agent detector. After Holland's arrest, Atlanta police detective Bobby Render, who specialized in organized crime, said Holland, 40, admitted in a tape-recorded confession to killing several people. Police believe the death toll may be as high as 50. On Tuesday, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Craig Schwoll issued an order allowing prosecutors to tell jurors about 11 prior homicides they believe are linked to Holland. "This is the most dangerous guy I've ever met, and I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, Render said. When Holland sat down with Render, the hitman spent 8 hours detailing his life of crime and his connections to Alamine. According to a transcript of the confession, Holland told the detective,
"I got to hope and pray that you're able to handle what I'm going to tell you and not look at me like I'm some parasite and not look at me like you deserve the death penalty. I have been a monster, sir. I have been a monster. 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 I am over 18 years of age and competent in all respect to give this affidavit and testify regarding the matters set forth herein. I have read this affidavit and the statements that are given herein are true and correct. On August 13th, 2004, I was arrested for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. During the next few weeks after my arrest, I was interviewed by detectives from the Atlanta Police Department on several occasions. In said interviews, we discussed my involvement in the death of James Jones, aka Raffy, with Detective Render and other detectives, who assured me that my conversations with them would be confidential and off the record. Detective Render and the other detectives also assured me that my family would be safe and that I would not receive the death penalty and would be sentenced to 15 years to serve 12 years in prison. I wrote on the top right corner of my legal pad that I would get 15 to serve 12 years in prison. It was my understanding that this sentence would be in exchange for my continued cooperation. That is why I continued to cooperate and give statements. Some of the interviews were videotaped, even at times when told they were off the record and confidential. Someone has to pay for these murders, man.
Detective Render. That's the pay. Call it what you want, but that's the pay. We can clear it. We've got 20 murders. Not saying you did all 20, but if you are claiming 20, bro, come on, 20 for one. That's the fucking deal of the century. Shahid then divulged specific details about each of the murders he committed. Detective Render will be testifying to the defendant's confession to the murder case and the similar transactions. In detail, he told Detective Render that Rafi was upset about a rape the defendant did during a robbery, how the robbery in South Carolina went down. And the defendant was upset with the victim about how the proceeds of cocaine were robbed from some Hispanics in College Park was split up. The defendant stated they tortured the Hispanic male, when in fact he now believes Rafi had already gotten the money. The defendant stated he wanted to get the victim while he was off guard, as he was afraid he would turn on him. The defendant says he took the victim's rifle and gave it to Hussein. A large dart of the defendant's oral testimony is consistent with what can be found on the tapes and the transcripts provided, as well as the defendant's note and drawing. The defendant gave a motive to confess that as a Muslim, he had to clear his soul and start to make amends for all the bad things he had done. The defendant called this atonement. The defendant also gave information about other murders he was aware of, done by people associated with him. The defendant gave names of his crew, and this crew in various forms was responsible for many of the crimes. Detective Render. Okay. Now, after this happened, do you know indistinct, I don't want to bring back some ugly memories. But if we go back after you killed him. Now, you said you went to his funeral, and you did what? What did you do? Shaheed.
Help dig his grave.
Detective Render. Whose grave? Shaheed.
Rafi.
Detective Render. Who else helped you dig the grave? Shaheed.
Bunch of us, and the whole time I was thinking, man, Rafi, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man.
Welcome to the West End, a historic black neighborhood nestled in the heart of Atlanta. Once a hotbed of civil rights activism and black-owned businesses, this community also bore witness to its fair share of violence and drug trade. Amidst this complex landscape, two figures emerged: Jamil Al-Amin, an influential civil rights leader, and Shaheed, a notorious criminal who wreaked havoc on the community. It was in this environment that Lucille KiL and Samuel Sawyer, two young men with a taste for fast money, rose to prominence as hustlers in the dope boy cocaine movement of the 1980s and 1990s. As we delve into the rich history of the West End, we cannot overlook the haunting parallels between the West End homicides and the Atlanta child murders, both of which remain unsolved. These unsolved mysteries cast a shadow over the neighborhood, leaving unanswered questions and unresolved trauma. How did the paths of these individuals intersect? And what impact did their actions have on the community at large? Join us on a captivating journey as we navigate through the intricate web of relationships that define the West End's past, exploring the captivating connections between these enigmatic cases. However, this story does not come to an end there. The documentary we have produced explores the controversy surrounding Alamine's alleged association with multiple murders, including the shooting of 2 police officers in 2000. We will be hearing from individuals who were familiar with both Rodney and Alamine during that period, including those who worked with Alamine and were influenced by his leadership, as well as those who supported and opposed him. Nevertheless, the story is not limited to a KiL and Jamil Al-Amin.
My name is Lucille KiL. I'm the author from the West End to LIL-Pakistan. Missing and murdered drug dealers.
William Poon. I grew up in the West End from 87 to 95.
My name is Deborah Sawyer, and I moved to the West End in around 1985.
Yeah, my name is Tom. I'm from the West End, born and raised, right on Lucille and the Holy.
My name is Byron Bernard. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My name is D-Dot.
My name is Ronald Moore. I've been in the West End 52 years, from 1969 to 2023. I've been in the West End, so I don't see no right good and bad.
My name is Dr. Mario Johnson, and I am a clinical psychiatrist.
With relentless resolve, we plunge into the depths of KiL's West End community, unveiling the profound transformation that unfolds as they embraced Islam. Through haunting interviews, we expose a chilling reality, a community scarred by tragic losses, individuals who fell victim to acts of violence. In this gripping exploration, we peel back the layers, revealing the intricate web of influences shaped by Alamine's leadership, unearthing stirring triumphs amidst daunting obstacles.
Back then, selling drugs on Lucille and Holland, violence was a must. In most places around Atlanta back then. It was like a jungle and like a lion. It's like anything weak was gonna get ate, robbed, extorted. Yeah. The community is just like in the community, like I be explaining to people, you got the bad and the good. Jamil dealt with the bad and the good. I just dealt with the bad Muslims. You get what I'm saying? So when I came, I took my beef to the ones that I knew was already corrupt.
Well, yeah, I can tell you about the West End in the early days. Growed up over there all my life. Different mix of people, religion. You got the Muslims, you had the Dreads. Yeah, it was a nice area, prosperous, thriving, until the crack hit the scene. After that, it got real ugly.
Say this for the record, I know Jamil Al-Amin has never had anything to do with any kind of drug activity. I would never say that. So I don't think he had anything to do with that. But as far as cleaning up the neighborhood from drug dealers, I know anybody with a problem as bad as the West End would want it, would really, like today, I would want, if I was his age at the time, I would want the same thing for the neighborhood. As far as him going around killing drug dealers itself, I know that didn't happen. As far as a Muslim, a Shaheed, so everybody know for a fact who did all the killings in the West End. When you read the book, you'll see who else was involved.
He was a leader. From what he had went through in the past with the Black Panthers, and he always tried to guide me in the right direction.
He was cool, fair. Ever since I've been knowing him, he seemed like a cool, mellowed out type of guy. He ran the Muslim community. He kept crime somewhat out the neighborhood. And yeah, he had a lot of respect. A lot of people respected him over there.
From what I saw, that he was had pretty good guidance. He was a lot older, probably a little older than I am, but I don't think he wanted to see good things come from me. And you know, he wanted me to return the Islamic spiritual place. You know, he was showing me, and I'm still running today. So I knew he was a good guy to me.
Really, the only interaction we ever really had with Jamil was like natural interaction. Go to the park, shooting basketball, he'd be shooting ball, or, you know, just driving by, speaking to him. It was a few times, you know, it was big shootouts, and he might come up and ask what went on, but you got to read the book to get the details on the conversations we had. But it was never anything hostile between the crew that I ran with, the drug crew that I ran with in the West End, and Jamil Al-Amin. Other crews might have different opinions, but we never had a problem with him at all. But he never hung out with us selling drugs either, because he never condoned drugs dealing in the West End and all. But I think it was kind of different, because I grew up over there, and once he seen I grew up to be a drug dealer, I was ashamed a little, and a few of us that really grew up in the neighborhood was ashamed, but he never just came out and, you know, scorned us about what we had became. He never did.
Me growing up in the West End, I never had conflicts of any Muslims or association. It was up and down. It was kind of toxic. The environment on holders, it was kind of hit and miss, you know? I mean, you know, with all the stuff going on, the Marcus Garvey Day, the park events and all that, it was kind of, you know, it was here and there.
Jamil Al-Amin, former H-Rap brand. I've been knowing him for about 48 years. I was walking through the park one day, and the news media was over, Channel 5 was over by the tennis court. I didn't see the camera. The lady walked up to the microphone and said some guys had been talking about that. I knew Alamine. And the first question what she asked me, she said was, did you see him toting a big gun? I never have seen him tote a gun. I never have seen him. I never seen him tote a Tommy gun. I never seen him tote now kind of assault weapon. I haven't seen him.
Growing up in the West End, I didn't interact with any Muslims. Yeah, I was in school, and a Muslim dropped his clip out his gun right by me. And the Coach Price was walking through the class, and I stuck my foot over it, and the dude's name was Tyreek. And he told me, man, you just saved my education. how can I repay you? And I said, you ain't gotta repay me, man. You could've got me caught with a clip and I would've been messed up. And so that day he took me to the West End. And that was the first day I laid eyes on Jamil Al-Amin, is when he took me into the store. The first day he introduced me to Jamil Al-Amin.
Yes, he knew. Of course I think Jamil Al-Amin knew what was going on in the West End. I've seen it. I've seen him walk around, I've seen him at his grocery store, I seen how they rock. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. Some of the kids he recruited, hey, like I said, it was around me and my surroundings. But I'm not gonna get into all that, man.
I don't think Jamil, I just don't see it happening, because I know one thing, Jamil ain't had nothing to do with no drug dealer. And Rico was a drug dealer, and Shaheed was a drug dealer.
To my knowledge, now I know it is, but then I didn't think so. I didn't know, because like I say, I always known it being for the black, black community. Everybody care, share, and love each other. And then I started hearing that it was becoming, a lot of the activities that went down, that was going on, came through the Muslims, came from the Muslims. Have I ever heard the name of Shaheed? Yes, I have heard the name of Shaheed Rockman. He is supposed to be the one that's supposed to pull the trigger to kill my son. And many others, to my knowledge.
When he actually testified on the Muslims and then they allowed him back down congregating with them like that, he just confused the whole neighborhood, He rapped back as chief security and all this shit. I'm like, wow. Just like we talked about him in prison, right now in prison, he's the imam of one of the worst prisons in the United States. Explain that. How could you be? If people talk about snitching, this guy has actually snitched on more people and killed more people than anybody in the world. In the Guinness Book of Records, they go put it in there. Not laughing about it, seriously. He was a paid FBI informant that murdered people and confessed to it.
My interaction with Shaheed, I really didn't have no interaction with Shaheed. I knew of Shaheed, seen him around the neighborhood. Yeah, I seen him around the neighborhood. I never had no dealings with him personally, but then as I got to know him around the neighborhood through other friends, OGs that hung with him, I interacted with him a couple of times. Hey, how you doing? And things like that.
Shaheed Rockman was arrested for a crime he committed. Before that day, I had never heard of Rashid Rockman. Never heard of him. When I got shot, I got shot in the face. And my little brother got killed.
People had to die for it like that. A lot of people died. But I don't think, I'm telling you, they didn't die. It wasn't no situation about it. I think Shaheed was killing, probably a couple of them in the end to get control of the corner. Before that, he was killing people for all different type of reasons. Because Shaheed the type of person, he would kill somebody, he'll come tell me one reason he killed him. He'll go tell somebody down the street another reason he killed them. He'll tell different stories to different people of why he killed people. He was a serial killer, and he bragged about every murder that he murdered. When he killed people, it wasn't a secret to nobody who I hung with what Shaheed did and what he did, because he came by and actually bragged about it.
Allegedly, yeah, they have. They killed a lot of my homeboys. They called they still trying to take over the community. If you wasn't Muslim or you wasn't selling dope for them, you had to go, allegedly. What I heard, the rumors in the neighborhood that everybody was talking about. They said Shaheed will pull up on you and tell you, if you ain't selling my dope, you got to go. If you ain't Muslim, you need to become Muslim. That's the only way you can stay alive. Allegedly, the rumors in the neighborhood, some people said or known about, but me personally, it's just all hearsay that, as far as I know and have heard. But a lot of folks was extorted, were paying for protection by the Muslim, and when they couldn't pay, they was
killed, allegedly, by the Muslim, with rumors in the neighborhood. Said that the Muslim, if you weren't paying, you had to go. Me personally, I never paid nothing. I did what I wanted to do. I had my own crew over there, my own family over there. I respected them, they respected me, and I stayed out their way, they stayed out my way. That's why I'm still here, saying her now to tell this story.
See, if Shaheed would have got shot in the head, Lee might have been alive. A lot of people, you know how many people that'll say, man, when people see this story and they say he say that, but it was just to kill one person, to sacrifice 50 people he killed, or more. I think he killed more. I really do. Somebody got to get his true confession. He through now, I'm telling you, he told me himself, he know he ain't never getting out. He lost all his appeals. Maybe he'll give it to you one day. He give it to me, I hope. But he killed way more people than 50. But I'm tell everyone, it was one person fueling the killing in the West End, Shaheed. Why ain't nobody dying over there now? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's way more murders. See, it's a lot of murders that Shaheed committed that he can't say shit about. Because there's people on the street that's looking out for him. He done put work in for a lot of people that owe him favors.
Homicides include Tommy Jones, black male. Date murder occurred, January 21st, 1990. Location of murder, 446, Holderness Street. The weapons used, .45 automatic Colt pistol, .357 Magnum, 12-gauge shotgun. Case summary. The motive seems to be armed robbery and then murder. The victim was a drug dealer in the West End. The victim refused extortion from the West End Muslims. Confidential informant states Miner shot the victim with the 12-gauge, shot the bystander with a .357, and the confidential informant was carrying a .45 caliber handgun. Suspects: Ricardo Miner and confidential informant. Transaction number 1. Additional details. Defendant testified for the state against the co-defendant and admitted his involvement and pleaded guilty. Al Dixon heard the confession. With a co-defendant, they shot Tommy Jones with a shotgun, killing him on January 21st, 1990. Defendant also pled to shooting Robert Miller with a handgun during the incident. 255570. Additional details. Defendant pled to possession of a sawed-off shotgun on May 6, 1991. Leonard Holland's court transcript. The case in indictment Z55570 involved the death of Mr. Tommy Jones, Your Honor, that occurred on January 21st in the year of 1990. Up until the time that Abu Rahman gave information to the federal authorities, it was only suspected that Ricardo Miner had committed that crime. There was no evidence other than just speculation in the neighborhood that perhaps maybe he had committed that crime. Mr. Shaheed Abu Rahman is willing to testify in that case in the event that it goes to trial. And I think Your Honor is also familiar with the fact that Mr. Shaheed Abu Rahman has given information to the federal authority that has resulted in federal indictments and is going to assist the federal authority in some upcoming trials also. For that reason, Your Honor, the state's willing to recommend that Mr. Shaheed Abu Rahman be sentenced to a sentence of 10 years to serve to run concurrently with the time that he's now serving on both indictments.
Growed up, know Rico Miner all my life, used to hang out with his brother, Ricardo Miner. And yeah, Rico he was a stand-up guy in the community, real OG, real respected. And in the Muslim community and out of the Muslim community, as a real go-getter and a real handler of business when it came down to it. And yeah. He was set up real bad, man. They set him up real bad. He was tied in with the Muslims, security.
I know Rico Miner from being a kid when I went to the same elementary school that I went to, with People Street Elementary. Then you come down to the West End Park and play basketball. Grew up overnight. I mean, just got tall overnight, look like. But then again, for us, I can't pinpoint that he started being Muslim or whatever. But I knew his little brother Muffin, but I never knew that what Rico, what was he up to? I never did know. I really don't. For Rico Miner, I really don't. I didn't know that he was a Muslim. I know that I never did see him. I used to see him down to the park playing ball. That was it. I'm looking on the inside, then looking on the outside. Really, I knew he had got him a vehicle. I knew his mom, but I never did You know, he was right around the corner from the Majesty, so as quiet as he kept, he could have been a Muslim, but you know, I didn't ever see him wear his coat. But you know, that's something I didn't see.
One time in my life, I can remember Muslims coming through there, passing out flyers like, you know, drugs. They got some programs. And I told you I'd never forget Rico's out there, Rico Miner. He took one of the flyers and tore him up in the face. Get him over here.
Have I ever heard a name named Tommy Jones? Yes, I heard. I heard the name of Tommy Jones. I also heard that he got killed in the West End. That name do sound familiar. I think I saw him one time years ago, back when this happened, that he was a short guy, dark skinned. I don't know what caused her to death, but maybe the drug related. I don't understand, but I heard he got killed in the West End too. For as I can remember him, that's what the word where he was selling that night. I think he was a drug dealer.
When you see a couple people head blowed off, and then you realize, I think like when I went to Holiness, and you seen the first person I seen shot up like that real bad. And I stood there all night and watched it was Tommy.
I was around then, and I came out the house, and this guy named Tommy, he walked up and hurt my feelings. He said, "Hey, broke ass nigga, you ain't got scrapes yet? I done got scraped. What that motherfucker name y'all call it? Blue Jane, Black Jane, what y'all call it? When you see that motherfucker, you let him know I ain't getting him nothing and I got my bitch back." A couple days went by. They came looking for him, asking for Tommy. Brown cab. Didn't nobody see him. So my brother Phil, he came up the steps and he said, "Hey, there's been a dude right here getting off every night right here in this cut." I said, "Yeah, that's that Mississippi nigga." I said, "What?" He came to the game room. I was on Moreland Avenue. He said, "Man, they killed Tommy." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, they killed Tommy." But Tommy was riding up and down the street. So he came back and he parked right in front of our house like he always do for the last 4 or 5 nights. Just like, you know, he was taking over the spot really, because all this shit free, what he had. But he didn't know that old man had other plans, had put people on this shit, by this shit, because that's the way he was. That old man didn't play by this shit. And plus, it was on a Sunday night, and nobody actually saw it because they shot the witnesses too. Like I said, they shot the guy Robert, and they thought he might have witnessed it, but he was only taking the trash out.
James Ferrell, black male. Date murder occurred March 16th, 1990. Location of murder, 769 Lawton Street. The weapons used, 9mm and a .357 Magnum. This case is currently closed. Case summary. The motive seems to be armed robbery and murder. The victim was a drug dealer in the West End and either was robbed for profit or killed for refusing extortion by the West End Muslims. A confidential informant stated he, Richard Miner, and Qasim Kabir went to Lawton Street. The victim had been surveilled by Miner. The confidential informant stayed in the car as Miner, who had a 9mm, and Qasim went to the victim's house. Additional details. Defendant testified for the state against the co-defendant and admitted his involvement and pled guilty to aggravated assault for shooting James Ferrell with a handgun on March 16, 1990. Al Dixon heard the confession and the defendant's testimony under oath. Transcript from court. Suspects: Ricardo Miner, date of birth unknown. Qasim Kabir, date of birth unknown. Transaction 4, 255569. That is the shooting death of James Ferrell, here in Fulton County, on March 16, 1990. Ricardo Miner was also a co-defendant in that case. The defendant cooperated with the state on this. Ricardo Miner is serving a life sentence. In those cases, the defendant admitted his guilt. The court. Did he testify in that case? Mr. Pinion. One of the cases hung then, in the other one, the defendant was found guilty. The court. Did this defendant testify? Mr. Pinion. He testified, and because of cooperation allowed to plead to aggravated assault for shooting James Ferrell and received a 10-year sentence. The court. He testified to his involvement in the murder, Mr. Pinion. Yes. Have the prosecutor, Mr. Dixon. He'll testify defendant admitted his guilty plea. It was not a best interest plea. They actually didn't have those. The court. All right. Mr. Abdur Rahman, I of course listened to your testimony during the trial of Ricardo Miner and can't help but question how a person of your intelligence and articulation would be involved in something like this when you could divert your talents to something of a very positive nature to help someone. And this is what is so distressing to me, the fact that you have adopted a Muslim name, which should be a name of pride, and yet be engaged in matters such as this. Of course, we'll never fully understand the motivation. Nevertheless, I do see that you have assisted the prosecutor and our system, and hopefully just not in this case, and also in the remaining cases. Therefore, I'm going to follow the recommendation. I hope you will have in your head, and have your head on right, as to what you should do with the rest of your life. 10 years to serve to run concurrent as to each of the indictments, Z 55569 and Z 55570, concurrent with the present sentence, credit for time served. The defendant. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Pinion. Thank you. Mr. Dixon. The state is going to place in Z 55569 count 1 and 2 on the dead docket. Mr. Hester. No objection. Mr. Dixon. And Z 5557. I think it's count 1, 3, and 4 on the dead docket. The court. He only pled to one count of aggravated assault. Mr. Hester. Yes, Your Honor. Leonard Holland's confession. Leonard Holland. Black James. That's the one where Rico and I were involved with, and the reason why we had the Black James issue in the first place. Some guy from Mississippi Boys was up here. Detective. Who are these Bentley boys? Leonard Holland. Some cats out of Chicago. Detective. They crew ain't no unicorn shit like that. That was real? Leonard Holland. Oh no, they are flowing, man. They doing they thing. They are big willies like the BMF cats. Detective. BMF. They owned it, bro. Them motherfuckers big time. Leonard Holland. It's only a matter of time, though. Detective. Shit. Y'all ain't the only crew after them? Leonard Holland. BMF. No 1-2. No 2 cats that have affiliation with them. You know, link with those cats and see what's what. Matter of fact, 3 dudes. One dude goes with, I think the boy, Michi's sister or cousin or something to that effect. You know? Yeah. It was just a matter of time before we got— This is Lucille KiL, author of From the West End to LIL-Pakistan. I often get asked why I decided to write a book. The answer lies in the sleepless nights I've endured for nearly 30 years, haunted by the realities documented in my work. My first book was penned without even glancing at the transcripts and confessions of Leonard Holland, a paid FBI informant and serial killer. The primary motivation behind this was to find closure, both for myself and for other families who lost loved ones to his heinous acts. This book is just the beginning. A second part is in the works, which will delve into 13 additional murders committed by this serial killer under the FBI's watch. If you suspect that your loved ones were victims, please reach out to getclosure2024@gmail.com. The following victims will be profiled in the forthcoming second part, hoping their stories will bring peace and closure. May they rest in peace, and let's pray for a resolution for their families. Triple homicide victims: Jacqueline Johnson, black female; Marlon Sadler, black male; Antonio Wyatt, black male. Date: murders occurred June 3, 1993. Weapons used: 9mm and .38 caliber. Barbara Ford, 29, white female. Date: murder occurred February 4, 1995. Location of murder: 319 Oak Cliff Road. Weapon used: unknown. Barrett Washington Jr., aka Quantavious Kelly, black male. Date: murder occurred March 2, 1995. Location of murder: Sloan Circle, North Custer Avenue. Weapons used: .45 automatic Colt pistol or .44 caliber and .22 or .25 caliber. Carl Von Wilson, black male. Date: murder occurred April 28, 1995. Location of murder: 1195 Lucille Avenue. Weapons used: 9mm. Sammy Sawyer, Lee, black male. Date murder occurred July 5, 1995. Location of murder, 4631 Herschel Road. Weapon used, unknown. Clarence Poon, black male. Date murder occurred November 24, 1995. Location of murder, 453 Holderness Street. Roderick Fulton, black male. Date murder occurred December 16, 1995. Location of murder, 1053 Cascade Circle. Weapon used, a knife and baseball bat. Andre Lane, black male. Date murder occurred January 1st, 1996. Location of murder, 845 York Avenue. Jamie James, Lee, black male. Date murder occurred July 23rd, 1996. Location of murder, 405 Atwood Street. The murder of Perry Miller and Tommy Warren, 2 black males. The victims were shot and their bodies were stuffed in a trunk near 1935 Childress Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. Date of offense. The victims went missing on February 27, 2003, and were found on March 25, 2003. Disposition, open. We share this tragic story with you, our viewers, with great care and responsibility, striving to provide closure and healing to the families impacted.